Well, look at us.
We're back.
This is so exciting. It has been a crazy couple of months. A lot has been going on. We have a lot to come, but we're just excited to be back talking to you again.
Studio's not completely finished yet, but we're working on it, and we have some other big news coming. We've been talking a lot about Pump House Records. You might want to start following them. We'll explain soon.
Yeah, but we're very excited about what we're going to be doing there, and I think you're going to really like it, and we're hopeful that that can grow into something really big and exciting and all that good stuff. But the thing I guess we've most been looking forward to catching back up on is, because we've had a bunch of people still using our Tony and Chris text line. How's it going? How was the move? How are you guys? Are you settled in? So all those basic questions when you move. And the answer to the basic thing is, we're moved.
In Nashville.
We're both in Nashville, different parts of Nashville right now. Settling in. What sucks for Katie and I is we've just did this move and we're going to have to do it again in less than a year because we didn't have a place that we found that we wanted to buy. And so we just rented a little place. And then now we're going to pack it all up and do it again. Hopefully it'll be an easier move next time.
And we moved into a fantastic area. Love it. And in fact, and just found out, haven't met him yet, but right across the street's a contestant from The Voice that's amazing, watching him. So I'm like, I can't wait to talk to him. So
right across the street from me is a guy named Larry, and he's got my back.
Love Larry.
That's all I know about Larry.
I hope every time you see him, you go, hello, Larry.
I think he'd get it. He's an older gentleman, so
yes,
he might understand that reference as opposed to most of you.
Google it, folks.
Yes. Okay, so we definitely wanted to talk about our moves from East Tennessee back to Middle Tennessee. We have two very different stories.
Why don't you go first? Yours is the more entertaining one. Or do you want me to go since mine's not entertaining?
It's not that it's not entertaining. You had a great experience.
Mitchell Moving Company of Knoxville. Mitchell Moving Company of Knoxville. Now, David Yardley, Scott Whitaker, and myself tried to load a couple of my storage units before we had to move out. We had a few day layover and nearly killed all three of us.
I just say three guys in there.
So we were like, we're done with this. So we hired a moving company, Mitchell Moving Company. And the day that they moved us out of 3 storage units from Knoxville to Nashville, and I thought this is going to be a 2-day process.
At least, yeah.
A team showed up at like 9 a.m. They were prompt, and I mean an army of them. And we were on the road by 1 in Knoxville. They had us moved into this house by 4 p.m. They were fantastic. Can't recommend them enough.
So I guess you could say it's how business should be done if you're a moving company.
And to the fact that when Rachel was scheduling them, she said, now what if you don't have enough room on the truck? And they said, that's not for you to worry about, ma'am. We will handle that. We will get another truck. Your job's not to worry.
Sounds great. I wish I had known about Mitchell Moving Company.
So why don't we talk about yours?
So I got to give a little backstory leading up to the actual, let me just do the whole thing. So we're going to do the move, and our realtor, who is incredible, she sold, like you, we sold our house so fast, Holly McRae.
Home Marketing Group,
and we sold it before it went on the market, as that happened so many times with her, and it was great. And the people who bought our house, I guess they had wanted our house for a while. They've been stalking our house, and they saw the sign go up, and they were excited. So we're thrilled. It just happened so much faster than we thought, so we really had to hustle. So a company that Home Marketing Group had recommended in the past, and I'll just tell you, let me skip to the end real quick. They no longer are recommending this company after our
What's the name of it?
Fox Moving Company.
Got it.
Out of Knoxville. So we call, and I say Katie did the work. We had a couple other places we went to. First, bigger companies like Allied, Colonial, those, but they didn't do in-state moves, or they weren't doing it at that time.
It's bizarre.
They're like, we're only doing interstate moves right now. So, okay. Holly said, try this place. So we get it. And she said, all right, how big's the guy's like, how big's the house? So we told him, it's how big the house is, how many rooms. He said, now we're going to get a lot of stuff out of here that you won't have to worry about, electronics and records and stuff. I took that. So I basically loaded a U-Haul myself with all the stuff I didn't trust anybody to touch.
Yes.
And so that was out of the way. So really all they had was a few rooms, like a couple of beds,
pretty simple.
It wasn't a big thing. So it's all right. Well, we're going to send our Nashville team. So they'll be there. And we said, well, we're doing it on this day. You got to be here and we got to be out because the buyer's walkthrough, the final walkthrough was at 7:30 p.m. Great. They'll be there between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. Great. So day of, we're getting stuff ready. We're trying to clean and get everything ready for them. 11 comes and goes. 12 comes and goes, and so finally, Katie calls and says, what's going on? And there was some kind of miscommunication, and they're actually coming from Nashville, and blah, blah, blah. Long story short, they didn't show up till 3 p.m. Now, we got to be out, and the house has got to be ready for the walkthrough by 7:30. So it's a tall order to get it done. And 3 guys showed up, and I could see right out of the gate, they're not moving too fast, and I've got concerns. The sense of urgency is not there. So let me skip to the day. Very nice gentlemen. These guys were very nice. However, when I came through the house at one point in my office, there was a lighter in the floor and I could smell the weed. I was like, well, this is not good. What three slow guys don't need is to add marijuana to the thing. I mean, I'm not against smoking weed, but don't do it while you're moving my stuff.
Maybe it was caffeine infused weed.
It wasn't.
Oh, okay.
They were smoking weed. And what's crazy is once we went online to look at all the other bad reviews that Fox Moving Company got, several people had complained that when the guy showed up, they smelled like weed.
Gotcha.
So it's going so. So now we're getting down to it. I mean, it's getting close to time, and we are not out of the house, and there's a lot of stuff left. And they're getting the truck. So I said, we got to get stuff out of the house, guys. So let's get it out of the house first and foremost so we can clean. And then you guys can continue to load the truck and hopefully we'll be out of their way. We had Holly, the realtor, call the buyers and say, can we push back the walkthrough?
Okay.
Because this is going so slow. Tick tock, tick tock. So they get to that. And then, so the truck's full. Now, as you heard Chris's experience with what's the name of that company?
Mitchell Moving Company of Knoxville.
What do you do if you fill up the truck and there's still stuff? Hey, you don't worry about that. We'll send more trucks. It's not your thing to worry about. Over at Fox, they don't have that philosophy. Their philosophy is if the truck is full, you.
Oh,
You're not going to get any more of your stuff, and we're just going to leave it on your lawn like a yard sale. Now it's time for the walkthrough, and I can see that the new buyer has driven by a couple of times, and I'm asked my neighbor, who I barely know, can I put some stuff over just behind the bushes in your driveway? Yes, by all means. Well, we put the things that I knew about, and then we found out later that night that they had put other stuff that I thought was on the truck over that they hid it behind some stuff, so we wouldn't know that they didn't put it on the truck. So I'm furious, obviously.
Yes.
We have to leave the house now for the buyers to come. We go park in a parking lot, and we call Fox and say, hey, what are we going to do? What are you going to do about this? How are you? Because now it's 9 o'clock. We call the local issues. Well, I'm not sure what's going on. Let me make some calls, and I will call you right back. Never heard from her again. Wow. So we're like, well, we got to get out of here. We got to get to Nashville. So I start calling around. Again, 9 o'clock. Where are you going to be able to rent anything at 9 o'clock? Thank God for U-Haul in Knoxville, because they have an online thing where you can actually rent a storage unit all online. So I was able to do that. So I had to rent a storage unit, which I then had to load up a truck and take stuff over and fill it because the moving guys took off. So now we've gone out of pocket for an extra thing. We had to rent a truck. Anyway, next day, they get to Nashville, and we load most of the stuff into a storage unit because our house is much smaller right now, the rental, and then they do the other stuff. But again, they show up smelling like weed. I was like, is this how you, is it wake and bake for these guys every day?
I guess.
The unload went okay, slow. Oh, by the way, the job that they said would take about 4 hours took 8 hours and still wasn't finished. So they never completed the job.
Gotcha.
So then they get the stuff over here, and now I've got to rent a truck, and we've got to make a trip back to Knoxville to get our stuff. So, and I forgot one part. I'm sorry. On the way to Knoxville to sign our closing paperwork and get everything done, our car broke down.
Oh, wow. Boy, it was just a disaster.
So we ended up
all the way around.
rent an extra truck to go, which that worked out great because it was a pickup truck and it was very handy in finishing the job that Fox Moving Company didn't finish. So anyway, going back to Knoxville, and we had to pick everything up, load it up again, bring it back to town. It was just an absolute nightmare. And what really bugged me, I guess, was when, Holly, our realtor she called the owner of the company, explaining to him what was going on. And he basically said he didn't care. He ultimately didn't care that the service was so bad that they didn't do the job. And so, we disputed the charges and got a bunch of money taken away from them.
Well, all I can say is, folks, Mitchell Moving Company of Knoxville is a delight if you're moving into Knoxville or out of Knoxville.
And by all means, don't ever use Fox, because not only is it bad business, but the owner doesn't care if you have a bad experience. And we're not the only ones. When we looked on Facebook and started looking at people talking about them, several of the very same complaints that we had, other people had. So it's just how they do business. So anyway,
but we're in Nashville, and I'm happy.
Yes, so thrilled.
My family's happy.
Thrilled to be back here. Katie, when she moved in with me years and years ago from San Francisco, she loved Nashville because it is, it's a melting pot. It's a real city. Not that Nashville isn't a real city, but it's very tough over there because everything's growing, but a lot of people don't want it to grow.
Yeah, Knoxville reminds me of Nashville in 2010, 11, before it exploded. Because now you can see the groundwork. I was talking to Kim Bumpus at Visit Knoxville, and it's the groundwork's been laid. It's in the next couple of years, it's going to be big time over there. I'm talking rooftop bars, a lot, just a fun all around city. And Danny White over there at the university is doing an amazing job too.
Oh, we're thrilled to be here in Nashville, and with no slight to the people that we met and became friends with in Knoxville, I'm happy to have it in my rear view. The work experience was so toxic and terrible that I just don't want to ever have to think about that again.
Well, let's don't.
So I love that we're here. We have some exciting things coming, as Chris mentioned at the top. Pump House Records, if you're not following them already, please do, because you're about to see some really cool stuff that we've got coming with them. We'll have more content coming now that we're getting settled and getting the studio set back up again, and we got some really cool new updates. And we'll show you. You helped us buy some new equipment. which is going to help our podcasts look better and our video stuff look better. So thank you. If you have not gifted us, think about that. We could still use it. We would really appreciate it. And thanks for everybody who's done it.
And those gifts, that's important, but also important to get the notifications thing. Share these so that your friends start following us.
Yeah, hit that subscribe button, go on your social media and let people know, we're back and we're doing content. We do daily shorts on all kinds of stuff, music and movies. And then, of course, we'll be back with more of this long form content as well. So thank you. Thanks for everything. Thanks for your support and continue to watch as we continue to try to grow this thing.
Yep.
All right. See you soon.
Bye.